Regret is one of the most powerful emotions that humans can have. What if I did this differently? What if I knew about this beforehand? Our brains just constantly create scenarios over and over again so that we don't make the same mistakes. While it may be something that happens often to us in real life, a story based on regret is very rare in games. Most games want to leave you with happy or intense emotions, so even if there's some regret, they'll still eventually lead you to a happy ending. Opus Echo of Starsong is different. It puts regret at the very forefront of the game, right in your face, and it makes sure that it keeps it there during the entire playthrough. The title screen is literally an older version of the main character Jun, reminiscing about his regrets about not seeing the other main character, Ida, and we get sent on the flashback to learn more about how he ended up in his position. There's something unique in the storytelling that's just different from most other storylines. You're told from the get-go that there's no happy ending. There's no reversal from the big sadness. It's just storytelling about regret in its purest form, and we're compelled to go down there into that dark place, even if we know that there's no happy ending. I mean, it's hard to even consider this as a game, since most of the gameplay portions are just simple walking or simple minigames, so it's not even worth a gameplay section. Heck, it's not even fun. But sometimes, maybe we need a game that's not just a dopamine kick to our brains. Maybe sometimes we need to empathize with the darker, the more real side of our emotions in a way that we don't usually do. So buckle up, this is going to be an emotional ride. I've decided that I won't be talking about the gameplay portions of this review. Instead, I'll just go over the important themes of the story and why I felt it was so good and why it just contributed to the story overall. First, I want to go deeper into the most prominent theme, regret. To be honest, the premise of this game is not that unique. I've seen it being more common outside of games. I'm not going to an objective chronological order of media because I have no idea how the heck to go about that. So instead, I'll talk about my own experiences with the theme. The first time I ever saw this premise was from a book. You know, like those physical books that you hold in your hands and you have to turn the pages to read. Damn, I feel like a boomer now. I remember in my teenage years, as I was browsing through Fully Booked, I saw this book, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I ended up buying it, since it was in the bestseller section. Listen to this premise. Boy falls in love with a girl who has late-stage cancer and only has a few months left to live. Sound familiar? You already know how this is going to end. Reading this book was the first time my teenage self discovered that words on a page, even without rolling cutscenes or movie shots, can make you cry. It was an amazing book, and it is even adapted into a movie. In 2016, a new anime was released and became popular. Your Lie in April. Anyone who remembers this anime has cried to it before. Here's the premise. Depressed piano genius falls in love with a violinist who only has a few months left to live. Sound familiar? I've definitely seen it before. But I still cried all the same. Opus Echo of Starsong tries to translate this into the game medium, but with a slight twist. The Fault in Our Stars is heavily focused on the entire romance development, with a little bit of growth on the side. Your Lie in April, on the other hand, is heavily focused on the growth of the main character, with a budding romance on the side. But Opus Echo of Starsong, while having a sprinkling of growth and romance, differs in that it just dives deep down into regret. There's no, hey, at least this happened, or I'm really glad I met you stuff. Okay, maybe a little bit of that. But instead, we're just given an experience of just living through the main character's regret as he recounts his story throughout the entire playthrough. There's no one on a sickness time limit. After all, we're in intergalactic space now. Instead, throughout the entire journey, every item description, every location description is described in the lens of the old Jun. Everything about how he wishes that they never did this, or how short-sighted he was, or how much he misses certain things. While the younger versions of the characters themselves are oblivious to all of this, you, as the player, have full view and are fully immersed in both views of the characters. We're suddenly thrust into this deep web of story because we are given both the current view and hindsight at the same time. This continues all the way to the end of the game, and it just culminates into this beautiful ending that I just couldn't help but cry to, despite already knowing the coming end. Next, I want to talk about being a loser as one of the other powerful themes in the game. I'm sure you guys have heard of the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or diamonds are forged in fire. But while these inspirational quotes can inspire people, have you ever thought about what happens to the people who don't get stronger? Or the people who get burned instead of forged? Throughout the main story, I felt like I realized what happens to the other side of the coin. What happens to the people who get put into a trial and come out broken? What if there is no success story, and these broken people are just trying to survive in the world? The world of Opus Echo of Starsong puts two main sides at a war from many years ago. There were two main factions fighting for the resources called Lumen, a conglomerate called United Mining, and the rest of the factions from different galaxies in the Loose Alliance. United Mining hired witches, women who could detect Lumen, to win the war for them, but immediately betrayed them after using them. Our main characters are all people from the losing side of the war. Jun is from a faction called East Ocean, who lost during the war. Ida is a witch. Remy is just a local war orphan from a local area that United Mining colonized, called the Thousand Peaks. As we go through the game, we really see that because of the war, our main characters are all broken in some way. There's not much redemption, and maybe there's a bit of growth, especially with Jun, but most of them remain unchanged. In a world ruled by the winner of the war, the losers can only look in discontent and survive. What's beautiful, I think, is that none of our main characters are part of the winning faction. In fact, we do see that the main country of the winner is a happy place, but our own main characters can't share that happiness. Instead, our main characters have to keep their heads down while completing their missions. The world is already set in stone during the playthrough. There's no reversal, there's no great revolution. After all, this story is focused on the characters and how they chase their own goals. The story for this game was done really well, but it's difficult for me if I'm asked if I want to recommend this or not. I mean, it's a different kind of game from what I usually play and recommend. Is it fun? Hell no. It's a literal visual novel with puzzles that an 8-year-old could solve. And it's a depressing tragedy, but I have to recommend it anyway. It might not be fun, but there's something that's just really compelling about it. Even if I knew that I was going to cry, even if I knew that I was going to be depressed afterwards, I just couldn't stop playing it. It's just a powerful story that really highlights themes that you usually wouldn't see. And it's a great change of pace from the usual dopamine hit from every other video game. And you know what? Maybe you won't need that change of pace for a long time. After all, we have so many great games to play. But just remember, when you need that change of pace, when you feel that need to cry, or just want a way to feel or vent emotions, you know where to go. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. I'll be working on some more videos in the future, so please stay tuned. Thank you.